I told my dad's new wife, Mom, sit in the car. She got furious and shouted, "Watch it, don't ever call me Mom, I'm not your mom." That day I decided to remove my name from my father's life forever. From that moment everything changed. I was 30, living in Chicago, trying to make sense of a family that never made sense. My father, who had once been my protector, had decided to remarry. I thought I could handle it. I thought I could be polite. But the moment my new stepmother opened her mouth in anger, I realized she had no right to step into my life and rewrite my world. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I just left. I walked straight to my room, slammed the door, and started writing a list of everything that belonged to me, everything I had earned on my own, and everything I would never let her touch. It wasn't just about the word mom. It was about respect. It was about ownership. It was about control. Days passed. My father tried to call me, but I ignored him. Each time his phone rang, I felt a wave of anger mixed with betrayal. How could he allow someone like her into our home? Someone who didn't even have the decency to respect the person I had been before she arrived. Then came the first message. "I'm sorry, can we talk?" It was her. My father hadn't told her about my decision to remove my name from everything she wanted to be part of. She was shocked, confused, and desperate, and honestly, that made me smile a little. But I wasn't ready to forgive, not yet. I started taking steps quietly, changing my last name legally, moving some of my personal belongings out of the house, and reclaiming my independence. Every action was deliberate, measured, and designed to make a statement. I was no one's pawn, not even my father's. By the time she finally came to my door asking for forgiveness, I was ready, but not in the way she hoped. I didn't want apologies. I didn't want fake smiles. I wanted respect, and I wanted power. I remember the night she knocked, her hands trembling, eyes filled with that false remorse people try to wear when they're cornered. I opened the door, looked at her, and said, "It's too late for sorry. You should have thought about that before you tried to erase me." And just like that, the game began. Every day after that I planned. I listened. I observed. I took notes on her habits, her weaknesses, the way she tried to manipulate my father, and the little lies she told to maintain her illusion of control. And slowly I started taking steps, not just to protect myself, but to make her regret ever stepping into my life. That's when the revenge began, not in screaming matches or confrontations, but in careful, subtle moves that would unravel the life she had built around my father. I wouldn't be cruel, I wouldn't be reckless, but I would be precise, and above all, I would be victorious. After that night, my life changed completely. I started thinking differently, strategically, like a chess player. Every move she made, I watched. Every word she said, I listened. I learned how she tried to control my father with little gestures, how she twisted his words, and how she smiled when she thought no one was watching. I realized something crucial. She wasn't strong, she was fragile. She thrived on fear, on pretending to be the center of attention. That gave me an advantage, and I was ready to use it. First, I built walls around myself. I stopped sharing my life with my father or anyone in that house. I rented a small apartment near my work, filled it with my memories and my belongings. Every photo, every piece of furniture, every book was a reminder that I still existed, still mattered. She could never erase me completely. Then I started small. I found ways to quietly expose her lies. A wrong story she told my father, I quietly corrected it with proof. A hidden purchase she tried to make without his knowledge, I left a record where he could see it. Slowly, very slowly, her control began to slip. And the look on her face when she realized she wasn't as untouchable as she thought, priceless. But my revenge wasn't just about exposing her. It was about taking back the respect I deserved. I started reconnecting with old friends my father had forgotten, people who knew me before she came into our lives. I invited them over, subtly letting her see that I wasn't just his daughter. I was a person with power, with influence, with my own world. And it worked. Her arrogance started to crumble. She tried to smile, tried to charm, but I could see through her. Every attempt to manipulate me failed because I refused to react. I refused to give her the satisfaction. One evening, my father tried to intervene. "She's your stepmother," he said. "You have to be polite." I looked at him calmly and said, "She will never be my mother, and I will never be polite to someone who tried to erase me." That stopped him. He didn't know what to say. And I realized something important. I didn't need his approval anymore. His anger, his guilt, his confusion, it was no longer my problem. I had taken back my power. Then came the unexpected. One day she came to my door again. This time she wasn't angry, she wasn't even trying to manipulate me. She looked small, fragile, desperate. "Please," she whispered, "can we just start over?" I smiled, but it wasn't the warm, forgiving smile she expected. "Start over," I said. "You don't get to start over. You made your choices. You wanted to enter my life, and now you see what that costs." That day I realized revenge wasn't just about getting even. It was about proving to myself that I had control over my life, that I could survive betrayal and come out stronger, that I didn't need anyone to validate my existence, especially not someone who had tried to destroy it. I knew this was just the beginning. There would be more challenges, more confrontations, but now I was ready. I wasn't afraid, and more than anything I was determined to win. Months passed. By now my life had completely shifted. I was no longer just my father's daughter. I was a woman in control, a woman who had faced betrayal and emerged stronger. And she was beginning to crumble under the weight of her own mistakes. It started with small things. My father began noticing inconsistencies in her stories, the lies she tried to pass off as truth, the manipulations she attempted to keep him distracted. And each time I stayed silent. I didn't need to point them out. I let reality speak for itself. Her arrogance, her false confidence began to crack. The more she tried to win my father's approval, the more transparent she became. He started asking questions, noticing patterns he had ignored before, and with each question her power slipped further. I could have been cruel. I could have shouted, humiliated her publicly, made her regret every word she had ever said. But revenge isn't always about cruelty. True revenge is quiet, calculated, and precise, and mine was perfect. One evening she approached me again, tears in her eyes, voice trembling. "I just wanted a family," she said. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I looked at her, letting the weight of years and betrayal sit between us. "A family," I whispered. "A family isn't built on lies. A family isn't forced. You wanted to replace me, erase me, and claim what was never yours." She had no words, she never would. And in that silence I felt the full extent of my victory. I had reclaimed my life. I had taken back my identity. I had shown my father, and more importantly myself, that I could stand alone, stronger than ever. From that moment on, things changed completely. I no longer needed to argue or explain myself. My father, seeing her true nature, began to respect the boundaries I had set. He may never fully understand why I removed my name from his life, but that didn't matter anymore. My peace, my control, my independence, that was mine and mine alone. I had learned the hardest lesson. Forgiveness is powerful, but revenge, when measured and deliberate, can restore what betrayal tried to destroy. I didn't need to hate her. I just needed to rise above her, and in doing so I became unstoppable. And now, looking back, I realize something even more important. The moment I decided to remove my name, to stand up and reclaim my life, I became the woman I was always meant to be. Not someone's daughter, not someone's stepchild, just me, strong, fearless, and unshakable. Some people wait for revenge to taste sweet. I didn't. I built it quietly, patiently, until it naturally unfolded, and when it did, the victory was mine. I had survived betrayal, humiliation, and disrespect, and in the end I had risen, not just to claim my life, but to show that no one, not even those who claim to love you, can erase who you are. I was free, I was unstoppable, I was me. The end.